Hmm.
And I'm going to do a backflip.
And I can see the oxygen is high and the temperature is high, so that's usually a pretty good indicator that yes,
We
indeed,
got four greens on the vent.
we are airtight.
So,
All right. Careful, the drop will hurt. Okay, so thrusters are on, antenna is powered, reactors are on, gravity, or not gravity, but the jump drive is charged, although it doesn't matter. Really, we just need thrust, and we need to unlock very carefully and just see if we can hover. The answer is yes. We hover at about 4% power usage. So I think there's nothing better to do now than just literally go straight up.
okay.
Try my best to orient myself to the horizon.
So those are probably the left and right ones. So, our gravity is 0.8. 0.7.
Okay. 80%, 83% battery.
0.6.
I'm going for very low power usage. Reactors are running full speed.
0.5. 0.4. 0.3.
What a view.
Point 0.2.
Okay, so it took roughly about 12% battery to get out of Jovan's atmosphere. That's awesome.
We're not quite out yet, but yeah.
We're not burning any. I think at this point we're gaining power because I haven't thrusted for several seconds now. I wanted to see if I could do an atmosphere escape or a planet escape by being first person only, using only the meters I have in the cockpit. And I did.
Cool.
I mean, I guess we haven't made it to zero G yet, but we're at we're at just a little over a tenth.
Yeah, we are 0.12. 0.11. You could dock to the asteroid to the right, but I think that's probably still in.
If I remember correctly, the outer fringes of the gravity of Jovan stretch out quite a ways. In fact, I'm gonna up our speed again. There we go. Now, I can't exactly see directly above me, so I really hope we don't run into any asteroids that are directly above us.
I'm watching.
And it's the drawback with this cockpit designs. I can't see the primary direction I'm headed. I guess I can orient direction of travel now that I'm in low gravity, so if you hope you're seated, because we are going to tip. We are going to nose all the way up. And there it
So,
is.
see,
Okay. Well, in an ideal world, let's go ahead and stop. Let's orient ourselves back towards the planet from where we came. See if... Yep, can see exactly where we're at. So I'm just going to keep the nose of this pointed directly at the contract site. And I am going to... Yeah, shut our thrusters down. Okay, we did it. We made it to space with our mothership.
Yay.
So now, although we're still sad,
We're still
our
sad.
Moshi is still not having a good time about it. And we need to get you a piped seat so that you don't have to refill after we drive, because that's one of the good things about being in the driver's seat in this one.
Well, it is, but that's not where we're at. So I'm just gonna sit in the cryo there. So, look,
So yeah. So now,
somebody's
what are...
lurking in my chat. Welcome, whoever
You
you
got a...
are.
Hello, Liquor.
At the beginning of this ship, we have an emotion block. And right now he's sad because we asked chat if what emotion we should put on the block, and they didn't say anything, which made the emotion block kind of sad. So
No.
if you would like to suggest an emotion, feel free and put that in chat, and we will put that on the emotion. Otherwise, he will just stay sad.
Otherwise, the Moshi is just sad.
Yeah.
That is, you should clarify that it is the chat emotion controller. So chat
Yeah.
controls that emotion.
Yeah.
You give us emotion, we plug it in. Until then, he's sad.
Yeah, because nobody is talking to him right now.
Nobody's given him an emotion, so now he's just sad.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I guess it's if it's a mothership, it's a she, right?
The ship is. I don't know about the emotion. It depends. It's a neutral emotion block. Let's do that.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so yeah, that's where we're at.
Well, now that we've made it to space, do we want to look for platinum here? Or do we want to go back down, Hydroman style? Or, oh, here's an idea. Let's make
I
a
already
mod.
know the answer, but go ahead.
Yeah. I think what we ought to do is make a small grid, modded thruster, drill ship / scout with a turret. I don't know. Thoughts on that? Give me. I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about this before, but give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts.
What we need is a drop ship to get from mothership to a planet. Now that drop ship can certainly have a drill, because we do have 2 drill ships, but they're hydrogen. I don't like that. What I'd like to do is
there's a seat on the. Here, let's go sit in the proper discussion area upstairs.
Oh, this is not upstairs. This is upstairs.
Yeah, it's to the cockpit. But yeah, you come up the upstairs here, go all the way up to the top past the refinery, and we got a little lounge here.
Okay. And so yeah. You know what? I don't want to yell, so I'm just gonna sit there.
Sure.
So, here's the deal. We need a drop ship to get to a planet and get back out of the planet. We want it to be small grid because we don't want to, have another mothership that we take down and come back up. It can certainly have some drills. That would be a good idea. We do want some cargo on it so we can bring things down and back up. Then, of course, batteries. We need to be able to have enough battery to get down and back up with some solar panels so we have some power generation as well. Which is, I mean, let's face it, we were going to build that.
So, so if we're gonna do a drop ship, are you wanting to do a drop ship that is like a carrier as well?
Well, we can build a freighter, a smaller grid freighter, or make a large grid freighter that's nothing but like the red. I don't know what you're calling it, the pink.
Pink, yeah.
Yeah. So
Pink
we can
trademark.
get some large grid with some thrusters on it just as a cargo hauler. But what I'm
Hmm.
thinking of is enough cargo that if we go drill, we're not drilling 2 seconds and coming back, drilling 2 seconds and coming back.
Yeah, so I'm seeing like yeah, like I'm seeing like a hauler and then like workship. So
Yeah.
it could even be like a hauler plus a couple workships so that we both ride in the hauler together to say an asteroid or a work site or down to Jovan or whatever. Pull off, we both have our own little work vehicle we pull off and maybe it's just a clone and then we work from with those and then
Well,
re and load into that then hauler.
let me suggest something.
So like a Voltron hauler
Let
work
me
vehicle.
suggest something. Imagine, if you will,
Wait, hold on.
a
You want me you want me to where's it at? Did I add it? Yeah, imagine.
yeah, imagine.
Imagine.
Imagine we had a hauler with a driller. Now imagine that at the flick of a button, the driller detaches the cargo, leaves it floating there in space or not, and goes off and drills, dumps his stuff off, goes out and drills, dumps his stuff off, goes out and
Hmm.
drills, dumps his stuff off, stays connected now, and then the cargo comes to mothership and dumps off its load.
So
So a
basically detachable
detachable,
storage is what you're saying.
either detachable storage or we just make it simple and we have like a large grid storage with enough thrusters that it can land and take off with a
Hmm.
couple connection points for a couple drillers.
I think I'm really digging the idea of making a oh god, this is going to be so many words that sound oxymoronic, but a large grid but a small cargo carrier, right? Like one that could fit on a landing pad on the Moshi. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then that large grid small frigate is essentially the moving cargo, right?
Mm-hmm. See, I'm thinking if we had two drillers, right? So let's put the large grid cargoes in the middle, and on both front and the back we have two small grid drillers, and hopefully we could have enough thrust on the small grids to lift the cargo
Just
from the planet up. And then if it's in space, we just dump it and let it float there.
yeah. Now I was thinking that's why we would use large grid is for to have large grid thrust, right?
Well, we can,
Like
but the drillers don't need to be large grid.
no, the drillers and that's why I was thinking like the hauler would be a large grid, so we could utilize large grid thrust with a full load.
Okay, but you can't control the thrusters for lift from the
You know,
small grid, right?
no. So that's back to the scenario of three vehicles, right? Like a
Okay,
hauler has one drivable vehicle and then vehicles that attach to it.
okay, that's fine. Do
I don't
that.
know. What are you feeling the most? What are you feeling the most good about of all the options? Like what's tickling your fancy?
Well, the only what I would like to do is have the small grid lift the large grid, but I don't think that that's possible.
We can make like a essentially like a large grid cargo container that is literally just a thing we pick up. But we're going to the problem we're going to have with small grid thrusters is we're going to have to overload with small grid thrusters to compensate.
Hmm.
Whereas if the large grid thrusted itself, it would be easier to balance it with thrusters.
But that just means that the large grid's going to need a cockpit, and it's really going to be the thing lifting the others. The small
Right.
grid is just not going to have
Yes.
enough thrust.
Because
So,
I would think if we didn't do that, then the other strategy is just put cargo on a couple small grid ships and just have them haul it themselves, you know.
Yeah, and the problem with that is it can't hold enough.
So then, what about two small grid ships where one is a driller and one is a cargo hauler, and they attach, but it's a hauler, small grid still, but it's the hauler that has the thruster spam.
Well, the small grid storage, you can't get enough. It's impossible.
Well, um, it's tough to get. Yeah, you have to spam a lot of cargo for small grid. Yeah, which is why I think a large grid is better for the hauler.
Yeah, so let's not talk in circles. That's what we're doing right now.
Well, we're discussing options.
We are, but I've already said I'm not going to like a small grid cargo. It's not going to work because
Okay, sure.
I've tried that with the Borg ship, if you remember that. Chat won't because they didn't see it, but it's
Well, that
basically
was solo play. Yeah.
I put 4 small grid large cargos together, and I could not even get, I mean, I drilled for like maybe 10 seconds and it was full.
Well, you also had a huge drill array, and you picked up an enormous amount in a very short amount of time. So it was a
Yeah, but
couple of things.
if I had the large grid, you know, I don't
Yeah,
think I would have that problem.
but then it's a different problem, right? You're just trading the problem, right? It's like then the problem is thrust power.
You always have the
So
thrust power problem. It's just they're using small grid or large grid.
so here's what I'm hearing is we need a large grid thing and a small grid thing.
We need to have the large grid freighter,
Hmm.
and we need a small grid driller. Yep.
And it could potentially be two small grid drillers, so we could both work.
Well, yeah. I mean, if
But
we're gonna build a large grid freighter, what we're gonna have is 2 or 4 large grid cargo boxes with thrust on the bottom and around the outside, and then some on top for down.
hmm
And then we're gonna have a cockpit. And then off of the cargo, we're going to have some uh, probably telescoping, maybe, or just connectors that we can connect to. That's what I think would work.
What if? Yeah. So let's start. Let's start with the large grid thing, and let's figure out if we can make. I think we have to make that before we can understand how the small grid ships will fit into it, right?
Eh, I'm making a box. But that's basically it. It's a large grid box with thrusters on it. But yeah, I mean, we can certainly start with it if that works for you. But it's basically a box. It's not going to be pretty. It's just storage. I
Okay.
kind of think of you've seen pods, right?
Yes.
Little white boxes that you
Yep.
can rent, and that's what I'm thinking. 2 or
Okay.
4
We
pods.
we could make a trailer that has a bed of magnetic plates or something, and then we attach a small grid cargo container to it. Bring a ship to it. We detach the container and then reattach it to the ship. The ship drives off with the cargo container, fills it up, brings it back, and plugs it in. But that would be, uh, boy, that would be a complicated series of either connectors or merge blocks. However, they did add small grid merge blocks now, so if we did it small grid, it wouldn't be so bad. But I'll tell you, that's a fun idea, but I don't know if I want to commit to that level of complexity. Where it's like literally small grid ships
Did
plucking
you just
cargo.
switch back to small grid cargo again?
Yeah. Well, to say that I had a neat idea, not to
Ah,
suggest that we do it.
okay.
Because think about it. Imagine if you had a small grid flatbed, like a semi-flatbed, right? And then you just had like every so often a little magnetic plate or a merge block for that matter, and attached to them are cargo containers. that
Yeah.
you can then merge block onto your small grid ship. They can detach, and then you just fly off, fill it up, and then reattach it when you're done. Neat idea. I don't want to commit to that.
Okay.
That's that is too much work. But I do like the idea of building. Oh, sorry, I shoved you. I do like the idea of having a large grid ship.
Hmm.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. So, are you looking for the airlock? Oh, this is the new bedroom space, by the way. It got
Hmm.
massively expanded.
I didn't know
You
that
gotta-
was the bedroom. We haven't built the house yet.
Yeah, that's on our list of priorities as well. Now, heads up, I am getting a little bit of hitching in the game, so it might be worthwhile to do a refresh, like a fresh load.
Okay, so you're saying I have to do a be right back?
No, I'm just suggesting it. I'll do another hard save just in case.
Just so you
And I,
know, what drives me batty is I'm getting some hitching, so we might want to do a reload. So I should do the be right back. You say, well, no. Well, either I am or I'm not. Just tell me. I don't care
you're
one way or another.
you're missing the word might.
I know the might. It's like if it's a good idea, we should do it. If you don't want to do it, then
It's probably not a good idea. I just like honestly, I just hate to have to make you disconnect in order to do it because I know it takes you longer to get in than it does for me.
no, that's okay. I mean, I'm not against it. Better than a crash.
I guess we could definitely cut this piston off here from the back now. I suppose we don't really
Nope.
need that, but
Leave it. We might want it. Maybe that's how
sure.
the cargo connects.
Yeah, well, it's not hurting anything.
You know. So what I'm doing is I'm building this off of our ship, and then we will cut it free when it's done.
Okay.
Since you want to do a large grid, this makes it easy, right?
Yeah, yeah, this is a great idea. We'll
So,
just give it a color that's different, I suppose. I'm just doing it white.
yeah, that's cool.
But okay, first things first, let's put some cargo on here.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're gonna want to immediately put like a whole bunch of large containers, but know that the small ones take up just as much volumetric space as they can carry cargo. So, a 3 by 3 by 3 of small cargo boxes is just as much as one big one. Now, the reason why I say that is we don't necessarily have to commit to building something around the traditional large cargo shape. We can spread 9 cargo containers into a straight line, for example, and have just as much storage with that. So it opens up options. And oh, there's a military escort over there. And a space pirate over there. They are pretty far away, but looks like they are on a trajectory that's getting them closer. Don't know if they're pointed exactly this way, but it certainly looks like, yeah, the distance is reducing. So we'll have to keep an eye on those guys. We do have guns, and I can take the Hydro ship out to fight little Stingray over there. But that being said, the reason I bring up the cargo thing is I know it sometimes really sucks to build around the large cargo containers on large grids, so it's fine if you want to use small ones and just kind of place them throughout. Just as long as you put 9 of them, they'll equate to one big one. And quiet.
You're giving me way too many options, and I don't like that. I thought we knew that. Now I have to think. That's not why I play games.
I build to do my, Candy Crush. There you go. That's your game.
No, I ain't playing this. It's just now I have to think. I don't have pieces. Don't have pieces, parts. To get
We
pieces,
could,
parts. We could
yeah, I
do,
mean, we could
do lots of things.
we
You're
could put
gonna
a
give me even
cargo.
more options.
Well, you know that where that piston arm is, we can just put a cargo container on the back, and then you've got access right there. And just like hack that off, put a cargo container there quickly, just for the time being, you know.
I like the piston. In fact, I could just put it out and get it right out of that connector.
You could. No, you can't. It doesn't work like that anymore.
You
You
just
can't.
went airtight. You're vending all our great juices.
That's true. I did do that. There you go. I'm fixing your problem.
I don't have a problem.
Now you have access to
One,
cargo there.
two,
Well, you're
three.
gonna have a problem when I push you off.
You're gonna have a problem too, mister. Move. Move. Move.
If I can't be useful, I can be annoying. Now, I'm not saying you have to put them in a straight line, but it does present an interesting design option.
I'm not saying that I'm listening to you anymore. I'm just doing things.
We're in mindless mode now. He's in full mind fodder mode. We will carefully observe what he is doing.
You know what I'm doing. And I think I'm gonna do this.
Are those all cargoes?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There.
Okay, so each one. Okay, interesting concept. I see.
It's
So those are
4 large of
nine
space.
9 by 5. That's 45.
You said 9 of them was 1 large, right?
Yes.
And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 large
Yeah.
cargoes.
5 large cargo.
Yeah.
Now this thing, boy, it's gonna be tough in planetary gravity if it's full. Because that's an enormous amount of storage, especially because we have the inventory set to 10 times. I mean, it's what we normally play with, but it does mean that they hold a lot.
So is it too many?
I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna give you
I
too
mean,
many options.
I can go down to 3 and put batteries on both sides. That would be fine too. I like this shape.
Well, if it's just in space, then thrust is easy. We can even go. We don't even need modded thrusters for that reason. We just use ion. It's just cheaper, but modded thrusters are better. But we're still on the same goal: find more platinum, right?
Yeah.
We got 14K. We're still chewing through in the refinery, so it's not like we're out. But we don't want to run out of platinum when it comes to building thrusters.